Everyone, good afternoon. I would like to quickly introduce myself. I am Jan Anthony Mijares, and for this time, I'll be sharing to you some of the most important details about my report last time about the philosophical thoughts of education in chapter 1. So now, what is philosophy and what is the philosophy? What is the relationship of philosophy and education, and what are those philosophical beliefs? So, when we say about philosophy, philosophy comes from the two Greek words, philia and sophia. When we say philia or philos, that means friend and or love, and sophia, which means wisdom, meaning philosophy is a love of wisdom. However, if we look deep into its term, philosophy is more than just love, for this is a deep mental quest. This is a deep search for minds to find the answers of everything. So, when we say philosophy, that is a particular system of beliefs, values, and principles. This is the belief that you have of how you should behave in a particular situations in life. So that is philosophy. And when we say philosophy in education, they are something related because philosophy depends on education and education depends on philosophy. Philosophy depends on education. It is because this is where in education that we studied about philosophy through books, through discussions or informations given by the teacher. And education is dependent uh, on philosophy. Education relied on philosophy. It is because that is for the fact that uh, an education without philosophy is unthinkable. That means we cannot have a good quality of education if we do not keep in mind philosophical questions. So that's it. So therefore, uh, the branch of phil- education that studies about philosophy is philosophical education. That's it. And there are two important terms or ideas in this. So we have a banking method. So when we say banking method, that is us. This is where storing and remembering of information by the students and the teachers is happening. This is where the students acts just uh, as an empty receptacles of learning, while the teacher is just a fountain of knowledge. So there is just a linear way of learning and teaching. That is banking method. And also we have an isolated facts. Isolated facts, that means that is what they call mile wide inch deep, because uh, there are too much teaching, however there is a lesser learning. Just like that, the teacher discuss everything. No? Many books have been opened and widely distributed into students. However, at the end of the day, students only knew very little or fewer knowledge or information because they this does not relate to the uh, real life problems and situations. That is banking method and isolated facts. This is where the students is just like a sponge, wherein students simply absorbs knowledge and information. That's it. Okay, so we also have a different philosophers, just like John Locke. He is an empiricist educator, meaning he believed that knowledge comes from is based on one's experience. This is where that um, the knowledge of the child comes from the dealings of his society or environment. This he also believed about the tabula rasa, which is his particular theory, popular theory of John Locke, in which tabula rasa or blank slate, meaning uh, that is where that the child born without knowledge, and he gained that knowledge in his interaction with his environment. So this is where the nature and nurture is um, involves. That means that the child is neither inherently good nor bad, and it depends to how the child is being nurtured or what kind of environment he is dealing at that influence his or her character either negatively or positively. And also, John Locke negates the divine rights of kings that suggests that only the autocrats have the power to become a leader. That John Locke's negate about that. He suggests that everyone have the can be a ruler just for the benefit of the for, just for the benefit of the mankind, for the uh, to become a ruler for a good help to everyone. And also, John Locke don't believe that knowledge exclusively comes from the classics or great books. That means that knowledge is certainly comes from experience. The next philosopher is John Dewey. John Dewey believes that John Dewey believes about learning by doing or learning things through experience. He suggests that schools are related to society it serves, and the schools are democratic institution regardless of economic background or economic status of the students. Everyone are encouraged to participate in that kind of democratic process. Every child, whether despite of differences, they are free to educate and have the privilege and right to learn, and that's certain schools. Okay, the next one is the utilitarian philosopher, which is Herbert Spencer. Herbert Spencer became popular for his idea about the social Darwinisms. His idea is something have a relevance from the idea of John Locke, Charles Darwin, about the survival of the fittest. He suggests that the human development had gone through an evolutionary process from from simple to complex, just like from simple society, just like in the ancient time ago, and to our modern society right now, which is much intricate and complicated, and focus of technological advances and many more kinds of uh, complex organizations that is being built in our society right now. And Herbert Spencer um, is gives emphasis to individualism. That means that if the student really want to learn, he should not depend to anyone. He must exert effort in his own in order to learn that things. He also opposed the free public education, in which that if the students really want to educate himself and to graduate in the university or in any schools, he must do something to finance himself in that while he is educating. That is to motivate the students for the value of determination and perseverance in order to success. And for the last philosopher that I can share with you is George Comte. George Comte is a Reconstructionist philosopher. Reconstructionists believe of reforming and building a better society. So George Comte, he suggests that the best teaching method is a problem solving. That means that for the child to know the problem, let them expose to the problem and let them think of the possible solutions. For example, if the problem is about pollution, you can encourage the children to come into the sanitary fields or in the city and let them watch and observe what is the problem around them and what kind of solutions these students can give for that. So also, he stressed that the the material progress is very evident, but the moral character and ethical development seem to have left behind, and which is also true in our society right now. Humanity is much focused on material progress. In the whole world, there are many improvements about technological advancements, emergence of globalizations, and modern kind of culture or livings. However, what is happening is that the moral character and attitudes of everyone seems to be declining, and that which is our prime problem when it comes to real success of our country, because the real change and success must be coming from the heart and for the good character and attitudes of its citizens or humanity. And that would be all. Thank you, everyone.